even if they destroy it or anything, you could have it be a recurring thing where it's like, oh, this keeps coming back. So you could have it tied to something greater if you wanted to, or you could just have this be just an anomaly of the world.
Alex, we're buying a Stairway to Heaven. Did you know that?
Yeah, bringing me fond memories of 8th grade school dances, thanks.
We're going to use all of our Patreon money. We have enough to buy it.
I don't think we have enough to buy a Staircase to Heaven.
Okay, we're going to have to save
Usually
this
they're
up
gilded
a little
in
bit.
gold.
Of course, I guess that would mean that the cost goes up. So.
But we could always pave it with good intentions.
Anyway, the reason why we're talking about all of this is because of a phenomenon that you actually made me aware of just recently, which is staircases that are just in the middle of the forest that seemingly go nowhere.
Yeah.
Just there.
Pretty strange phenomenon.
Right. Phenomenon. Yeah.
Do.
Phenomenon.
Can't not do that.
Yeah, exactly.
For anyone wondering, there is actually a series of stories dealing with this idea that you can find on YouTube, for instance. I gave Nathan a link to one a little bit ago for him to check it out. I think the story series is like, I was a forest ranger for the U.S. Forest Service or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And I've got some stories to tell. It's interesting stuff. It's not terrible. It's on the creepier side, but not so out of pocket that it seems totally unbelievable. If you want a comprehensive reading, go listen to Wendigoods.
Synopsis, for anyone who's wondering, is that people have run across these, and park rangers have run across it, hikers have run across staircases that sometimes they're just there. No one knows really why, like who put them there or why. But out in the middle of the forest, sometimes just not seemingly going to anywhere in particular. Now, there could be a ton of explanations for this. The immediate thing I was thinking about was like, oh, well, there might have been people that used this area at one point that needed to get from point A to point B or something like that.
Staircase is neither right in the middle of the woods.
Right.
One of the things that the synopsis I gave you didn't really go into was all the details from the main story, which is fine. It was just kind of a brief overview. One of the things that the original story is like, usually these are like 30 or 40 miles out in the middle of nowhere.
Right. And like
really deep in the middle of the woods where they shouldn't be.
Yeah, and made with like materials that you'd have to like hike out there.
And not just like current trees out there, like lumber, and like he said in the story, one of them is like had a beige carpet on it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And they mentioned that like there was no debris on them at all. They were pristine, looked like brand new, kinda. No leaves or dirt or anything on the carpet or the stairs.
Yeah. So this is like recent or just not used in any regard?
Something weird that's keeping everything off it, kind of.
Right. And I know that there are stories of people that have run across it that didn't really want to interact with it or had a bad feeling after being there because something seems off, or the look that this might be a staircase that was moved from another location and put there. I think
they describe it as like it was like you just pulled a staircase that should be in a normal like suburban house.
Yeah.
And just stuck it in the middle of the woods.
Stuck it in the middle of the woods. So there's some fascinating pictures. I think the ones that are most head-scratching to me are literally the ones that just don't seem to go anywhere. They just kind of like end at a point. Like they just built stairs so that they could be up high in a certain area for a reason. Which we do on many occasions, just build staircases to like observatories or something like that. We have fire towers that are essentially a staircase just to a fire watch station at the top. But it's interesting that sometimes these don't seem to be even like a lookout post or anything. They're just...
Yeah, they're normally not. They're just the stairs and nothing else.
Yeah, they're just there. And so the reason why we wanted to talk about that today was because often around this time of year, we like to discuss some spooky or creepy ideas about making a tabletop scenario, making a quest line, something like that you can use for your players. And so on this one, we were going to talk about the idea of having your players encounter a set of stairs in the middle of nowhere, and what that means and how we can utilize it. So, Alex, your players have wandered into the middle of the woods. They're just, we're going to say that they're going from point A to point B. So they're coming back from a quest, they're going back to town.
It's the easiest way to do it, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you cut across the woods. It's going to be quicker than going by the roads because they got to get back from town and their quest line is over here. You happen to cut through the woods, the party says
or maybe they're trying to avoid the roads for some reason.
Or they're avoiding the roads, maybe they're wanted for something. But anyway, the reason is they just decide that they want to go through the woods. Now they're in the middle of the woods and you throw in a random encounter.
Yeah. And this encounter is with a staircase.
And this encounter is just a staircase. So,
and if Clayton is listening to this video, he's going to mention how I yeet myself off staircases, and that's fine.
Like, how would you describe this staircase?
I mean, you'd want to describe it well, too, of course. You want to set that scene really well. You'll have to be like, as you come in, as you're walking through the woods, like, you come across a clearing, and I don't think you even need to necessarily, maybe you have them roll perception.
Mm-hmm.
Not to notice the stairs, but to notice something off before they arrive at the location.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, as you walk through the woods, you notice that there's no sounds of animals anymore. No birds, no chirping, no insect noises or anything.
Sure.
And maybe almost the sounds of your stepping on leaves and twigs is muted somehow. And then be like, as you continue another 20 feet, you come into a clearing. And in the center of this clearing is this staircase.
So that would be like high perception. I would say that a low perception check, I would almost use it as a throwaway. We're out in the middle of the woods. There's a lot of old growth trees out here, a lot of like leaves on the ground. It's probably hasn't really been touched by people for probably 10, 20 years, you imagine, that really hasn't been stepping out here. There's a staircase out here, and but besides that, there's nothing really out of the ordinary. Just kind of like
just casually, there's a staircase in the woods too.
And there's a staircase out here. And then the question that you're kind of looking for is staircase attached to some? No, just a staircase, not attached to anything, just hanging out near some trees.
In my description, it's like you come across this staircase, and I assume the question would be just a staircase. And it'd be just a staircase.
Just a staircase. And then the questions that you imagine are like, does it go anywhere? Is it up high? How high is the staircase?
I want the group that'll just ignore it fully. Honestly.
Yeah, and just keep
then it's like, all right,
along.
Here's just this thing that you should ignore, and by all means you should just stay away from. But players like to be curious.
Yeah.
So, I want the group that's going to go, right, we're just going to continue on. It's like, you're just going to continue on? There's a staircase in the middle of the woods, but we're just going to keep going. It's like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
And for that encounter, you get 25 XP. Good job.
Yeah.
You beat it.
Yeah, you beat the encounter. I like the idea, though, of, like, they're going to move on, or they think they don't notice anything about the staircase or something, and then they decide, well, there's nothing here, we're just going to move on. I like the idea if somebody wants to keep being observant and they look back, that they think they see a figure at the top of the staircase, but they can't tell.
That would be good.
But like,
or maybe if they get a really good perception check before they even reach the spot, you will kind of be like, in the distance, it looks like you can see, like through the trees. Maybe it looks like you can see what seems to be a staircase with someone standing at the top of it.
Right. And then you get there, and there's nobody at the top of the staircase.
Yeah, it's just the stairs. But then they're going to be paranoid that there's somebody around that heard them come in.
You know what would be interesting is if they're, like, looking around, if they get, like, really high perception when they get in there, and then somebody would notice, As you investigate the staircase, you notice that right off of the edge of the top of the staircase, you kick a bone, and it looks like a femur.
See, I was thinking of something even creepier than that. It's like maybe
Yeah.
you get into the clearing, and as people like look at the staircase, or if they decide to examine around it or whatever like that, you have them roll wisdom save, maybe
Wisdom, maybe a wisdom save, sure.
for
If
illusions.
it's like an attack on them, yeah. Or insight?
No, I don't think insight is someone I'd want. Maybe just have do like a roll for the group where it's a wisdom save, and what happens is as they're looking around, suddenly it feels like it gets darker, like just overcast, like a cloud went overhead,
Yeah.
and suddenly around the clearing, like you do make them roll a perception check afterwards, and you have them look around the clearing, and there's just dark figures hanging from the branches of trees all around it.
Oh, yeah. That's...
Like,
Yeah.
It's like shadowy dark.
Here's another thought. Is you do like the Mario 64 thing, which is that if somebody wants to climb up the stairs, they keep not reaching the top of the stairs. They can't actually get there. It feels like they're just walking continuously. Or they get to the top, and they look around, they don't see anything, and they try to come back down, but they never reach the bottom. The stairs keep pulling them
You've died.
back
Good
up.
job.
Yeah, the stairs keep pulling you back up and refuse to let you go down.
I think if you want to take this in a lighter turn of events, you could have one of those magic abilities, like a portable hole deal, but not the portable hole, where someone has created an extra dimensional space above the staircase.
Yeah. So there is something there. It's just you can't perceive it, or that there's something interesting at the top. I could see it as an interesting challenge too, to actually get up to the top of the stairs. Like your player goes to go up the top of the stairs, and when they reach that first step, they get like locked in place, and they get asked like a question or a riddle that's supposed to be like a test of their faith for whoever put the stairs there, or a test of their knowledge of the civilization that was there. And you have to keep passing the test as you go like up each step in order to reach the top.
I also think just having them step on that first step and getting a tremendous sense of vertigo would be fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Like, con save or you vomit profusely.
Oh, yeah. That there's stuff that you're supposed to pass. And yeah, you could do it with saves. I think it'd be interesting to do it with saves. But the idea that, like, these steps aren't just stairs out in the middle of nowhere, but they're tests. And so you have to pass, like, the so many feats, essentially, of your strength and your wisdom and your ability.
I think we're going in different directions of creepiness with this. Yours is like, suddenly it's no longer creepy, it's just a test. Mine is like, you step on it and you fucking roll a save or you're going to lose your lunch.
But here's the thing, Alex. Here's the end point of that. Is that if you do succeed at these tests where they're like, oh cool, I passed all of the tests, and you get to the top, a figure or a voice kind of says, You've passed the tests, and you are now ready to ascend. And the ascension is essentially that they now kill you, so that you can pass on to their like they want to pull you into the afterlife. Like a hand starts to guide you off the edge, trying to pull you to the afterlife, which could very well, like, you start to see like the image of that other world that they're pulling you into, and it does not look nice. It does not. At that point, it does not look fun.
I think one that would be fun, aside from the vertigo, is maybe you take another step on the stairs. You don't get the vertigo. You pass your check. You go up the next stair. Suddenly, you smell like the coppery tang of blood.
Perfect.
And when you look around, none of you are bleeding. And you look around again, and you notice that the stairs are now bleeding.
Love it. That's always good.
little terrifying things like that. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
well, first I'm sick, and now the staircase is just oozing blood from like the sides of the runs where the stairs meet the siding.
Yeah.
So it's just like a trickle of blood starting at the top and just trickling down.
Yeah. You know what you could do is you have them, like, the stairs are not really anything special until you get to the top. Then you get to the top and you're looking around and you're figuring, oh, okay, so it's just a staircase. And as you come back, you start to realize that you're in a completely different place. And there's the blood, there's the rivers. You don't see the woods anymore. And your party members can't see that player anymore. They're not there.
So here's a question. Aside from, like, maybe people touching and examining going up the stairs, let's say, what happens if the party decides that this is unnerving, let's burn the stairs down?
I think at that point, when it when the stairs start to burn, you hear the echoes of screams throughout the forest.
I was literally actually just thinking.
Yeah.
I think what would happen is you set the stairs on fire and the forest starts to scream.
Yeah. Not really people, but the forest starts to scream. Yeah. In a very unnerving way. You feel like the ground vibrate under your feet. Like there's something very ancient that you do not understand that has occurred here that your party is not aware of.
Maybe as you look around at the screaming, it almost looks like, you know how when you can look through like a copse of trees, and it looks like all the branches are over each other, or maybe it looks the way the light looks is weird. Maybe it just looks like some of the branches are forming like eyes and mouths that are gaping wide and screaming.
Yeah, that would be good. Or you have or as your party looks around, the forest is denser now, and you don't know how to get out of the tree line. There's no path anymore.
Feels like
it's moved.
Forest is just...
Yeah, the forest
gets up and walks away.
Yeah, the forest has changed around you. The paths, you don't recognize the paths anymore. You don't know how to get out.
Suddenly it's nighttime. The only thing illuminating any area around you is the fire of the stairs.
The fire glows a different color. It's purple. It's not like a normal.
Purple of corruption.
That. Or that shadowy figure that we were talking about before. You kind of feel like you see them at the top of the stairs, like as that's going on, and they start to. Oh, what are they going to do when they do that? They give you the impression that whatever this was, this horrible like curse that has been placed in the woods is now on you. It's no longer attached to the stairs. It's attached to you. This place is with you now.
If it goes dark, I was just thinking would be really fun is the moon. Obviously, if there's a moon up in the sky, it'd be bright now. Everything else is dark. So the moon's not really casting any light in the clearing you're in. But maybe it goes dark for a second, and as you look up, like fully dark. As you look up, you just see the moon is an eye that just blinked.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking, my thought was, you look up at the moon and you see a reflection of the stairs in the moon. Like, you see like the stairs, like, seemingly inverted, like, on the moon. So it's like, that's the other side of it that you're not aware of.
Another question: what if the players are more engineering inclined? What if they disassemble the stairs? What if they decide we're taking these stairs with us?
Okay, so I think I would let them take the stairs apart, mostly because just from like out of character knowledge, I don't know if I would know exactly what I wanted to do at that point in time, but I wanted to keep this rolling. But the next time they go to rest and the party's asleep, when they wake up, the staircase has reassembled right next to them. They've taken the whole thing apart, they take it with them, they go to sleep, and when everybody is not aware or has not been observing the staircase reassembles itself.
That'd be interesting. maybe the wood of the staircase assembles itself into the form of a coffin.
Oh, so it's like an anomalous thing that changes its form. Yeah.
Maybe the staircase reassembles itself, but now it's going down into the earth.
Ooh, yeah, that would be interesting. The staircase, I'm gonna assume, like, we're out in the middle of the woods. Are we thinking that the staircase might be old? Like, I'm kind of thinking, like, of the civilization that was there, they probably would have built this, and it would be of, like, more ancient construction. What would be interesting is if they take it apart, they take it with them, and then when the staircase reassembles, it looks modern to the time of the party. So, like, it has now updated to what is attached to it, essentially.
Just got the new Windows update, and
yeah, it's got the new update. Oh, what if the stairs turned into a window?
Window?
Yeah,
Where are they getting the glass from?
Oh, it doesn't need to have glass, because when you look through it, it seems to not represent the world that was out there before. So there's a possibility. The stairs just reassembled, they look the same, but your party's names are now scribbled on the side of the staircase.
Graffiti.
Yeah, they're keeping names attached to them. It's like those every step is a journey or something, and your party's names are now suddenly, like, you know, on there, are just like on the individual steps, something to that effect.
What do you think the end goal of this encounter could be? Just to survive?
I think it's to survive. I think it's more of like a mystery. You've stumbled across a mystery and anomaly that's out in the world, and the goal is to solve it. So, like, we're talking about, like, what if the party does this, or this? But ultimately, there's probably something that they could do that would create some kind of resolution where the staircase is no longer what it was, or like
Sure.
that they're, or at least that they are no longer bound to it if they've taken it with them or they've burned it or anything like that. That there might be a way to, like, remove whatever curse this is to the staircase. I think it's interesting is we talked about the idea of, like, the party just moving on and saying, okay, no problem. But I feel like maybe moving on is the wrong scenario. Like they.
I feel like it's the best scenario.
Yeah, but, like, my thought process is, like, after you've encountered this staircase, it never really leaves you. Like they keep walking and they encounter the same staircase again in an identical clearing. Like they've gone around. And they've, like, backtracked, like they can't get out of the woods until they deal with the staircase.
Like if they encounter it and move on, or don't do anything most to it, I think it'd be really fun to be like, all right, well, that was it. There's nothing else going on with this, and they go on and continue on their journey and stuff. Do a couple things. Couple sessions later, have them when they're journeying again come across another staircase.
Yep. And it looks the exact same as the previous one.
It might be a different location, but it looks exactly the same.
Yep.
Just have that be a recurring thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if they destroy it or anything, you could have it be a recurring thing where it's like, oh, this keeps coming back. So you could have it tied to something greater if you wanted to, or you could just have this be just an anomaly of the world.
Yeah.
Like with the story, this is just kind of an anomaly thing, but it's we don't talk about it. Also, don't go near it, don't touch it, don't go up it. It's like, we know about these, they're normal, don't worry about it, just leave it alone.
I think from a story perspective, if you were really looking to put this into text like that, the end purpose of the staircase is that once you encounter it, you have to be able to walk up the stairs and confront it directly. And until you do that, you will never be away from it. So, like, I guess in, like, a story or, like, a character development standpoint, it's actually about overcoming something. And, like, the idea is that at the top of the stairs is where you actually face your character's actual fear. Something that they actually have to confront.
That's too metaphorical for me. I wouldn't go in that direction.
You wouldn't go in that direction. I probably would. If it were me, I probably would.
Yeah, I'm not you. I'd go in the direction of, okay, so now you're in this extra-dimensional space that looks like an M.C. Escher painting with stairs everywhere.
Yeah.
Non-Euclidean geometry in here.
Right.
And you have to find the staircase out.
Yeah. I think, I guess if it were me, I might do that. I might also just make it that the being willing to go up to the top of the staircase is literally the challenge. Is that just nothing special, but being willing to go to the top, look down, and then be able to go back down is essentially just the challenge that's confronting with you. Almost like a bridge keeper. Like the stairs just demand that you walk up them to observe what is at the top, and then walk down. And until you have done that, it will not leave you. It will refuse to leave you. And that maybe when they go to the top, there is a vision, there is like a memory of something. Doesn't have to be scary necessarily, but that there's something that the staircase wants to show you at the top. And until you witness it, until you're willing to actually look at it, it will keep following you until
you could have it tied to somebody's past for sure if you wanted to as well.
It would be helpful, yeah, if it has something to do with the origin story of one of the characters. That might be the reason why they keep seeing the staircase.
I think it'd be fun if you had the players that are, like, maybe you just wanted to do this early on, but you didn't want to have it progress farther yet. Is if the players approached it, then maybe it would vanish.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting. That would be interesting.
So, then again, you can have it keep coming back. I know. I thought this was an interesting urban legend / creepypasta, whatever you want to consider it.
Sure.
Not true story, although I'm sure there are real places in the world that have staircases. Almost in the middle of nowhere, there are ghost towns and abandoned settlements that...
Oh, sure.
It's possible stairs might be the only thing that remains.
Yeah. They have some interesting pictures of, like, the stairs that were probably attached to something at one point, but just the buildings fell down and the staircases remained or something like that.
Or just Photoshop is a bunch of them too.
Yeah, that's also the possibility.
Or video games.
Yeah. Or that there literally was a reason why they built the staircase. That just nobody remembers why. It could have been an outlook. It could have been to get better vantage point on certain areas. But I like the idea of creating a staircase that maybe when you go to the top of it, you do see a scene like, when you would get the recorders in video games where, like, they show you the spirits do something, and then that, like, kind of leads you on a little mystery or something like that. That it seems like that sort of thing, where it's like, put the spirits to rest or something that you could do with just the idea of this very innocuous thing that we all just kind of know about, but in just an out-of-place location that you're not planning on experiencing it. So, but I guess that's all that we can think of for what we would do with staircases. You've probably been thinking about some yourself, so if you have any ideas about how to use staircases to freak your players out or to lead on a little subquest in your game, let us know in the comments down below. I did not think that the staircases would be the final boss, but here we are. Also, maybe they're just a mimic. That seems to be the out for most times. It's
also doable.
Staircase mimic, that's gotta be a thing at some point.
Step on it and it eats you.
Step on the top of it, that's where the mouth is. It eats you. It's at the top of a Sarlacc pit. These are all pretty standard things that you might do. But if you have a really interesting idea of how you could use them, you can let us know in the comments down below.